Hello YouTube, welcome to Ambrose Landscaping YouTube channel. It is 2016 and it is our first video of the year. On today's video I thought it would be appropriate to go ahead and talk about yearly contracts. I'm not sure a lot of landscapers know what yearly contracts are or how to do them, so I thought we'd just do a quick video. So we'll just start from the beginning. So we started doing yearly contracts about 3 years ago. It was kind of hard to kind of get used to and kind of know. But it's definitely have saved our business over the past couple of years, that's for sure. So pretty much we learned how to do it by just taking on our first commercial account, which was Discount Tire, and then it wasn't until I think a few months later we took over a couple of large condo associations where they had some contracts already in hand, and pretty much what we did was we just used some of the wording and kind of the structure of their contracts and kind of made it our own and put our own things into there. So we're going to go ahead and talk about maybe some of the pros and cons about it. So we're going to do two different videos. This video we're just going to kind of do an overview on yearly contracts and the pros and cons about them. And then the next video we're going to do some of the most important things to have in your contracts that will definitely save your company. So let's go ahead and get started with talking about yearly contracts. Alright, so hopefully everyone's having a good start to a new year. As you can see, you can't see here, but it snowed a little bit here today here in Washington. Where I live, it's kind of rare that we get some snow. It's probably going to be sticking around just until today, but probably not for too much longer. So, and a lot of people wonder if we do snow removal. We don't, just because if a couple clients, if we get a good amount of snow, which is really uncommon where I live, then we'll go out and shovel a couple driveways, but it's not worth putting a plow on the truck and putting that much money into that. So we don't do it. So let's go ahead and talk about the pros and cons about yearly contracts. So one of the pros is, I think this is a thing that a lot of landscapers seem to struggle with, is during the winter time, especially up north, on the East Coast or on the West Coast, where it's not where it's not sunny all the time like Southern California and Florida, where it's kind of year-round maintenance. But here, when it snows, of course, there's no mowing to do. Once all the pruning's done, all the work's done, things just die off in December. And this is what happens with a lot of landscaping companies, is that they don't have enough work to keep them busy through the winter, and they didn't save up enough, or they didn't make enough in the summertime, and that's where a lot of companies go out of business. Now, this is why we decided to do year contracts. So what a year contract is, it's the same monthly payment throughout the entire year. And basically what it is the amount of work that you do in the summertime, you pretty much get paid that at a lower wage throughout the whole entire year. And then that way you're still getting paid pretty much like it's like a regular job. You're just getting the same check from January to December. Now, the first year that we were in business, actually, I think it was the first 2 years, we had no idea how to do that. And actually, my first year in business, we actually almost went out of business because we did not know how to, or especially me, I didn't know how to control my money that well. And so we were spending too much, and then there was nothing to do in December. So luckily, we were able to make it past that first year. And of course, we'll do another video on kind of the Ambrose story, how we kind of got started out to where we are now. But we really struggled that first year. And so, of course, when I got married, that's when we kind of started taking things a little bit more seriously in the business. And so that's why we started really trying to get into more year contracts, talking to other guys about how they do theirs. If I start stuttering, it's because I'm really cold. So, and that usually happens when I'm standing outside a lot. So if my voice starts to get a little, it's because I'm cold. So anyways, and so that's basically one of the biggest pros, is that you're getting the same amount of money throughout the whole entire year, and that way you're kind of getting a steady paycheck in. So those guys that are looking to possibly get, build houses, or not build houses, I'm sorry, but buy a house, and do something with rent or whatever, you have that, the same income coming every single month, so you know what to expect. Where, if you didn't do contracts, it was just a basic, every time you showed up, you get paid by that. It's not steady income. So that's why I really liked doing year contracts for our company. Another one of the other pros about it is that you're not spending all this time doing bids. So what we do with our contracts is that we try to include as much work. So that work includes, the mowing, the trimming, the hedge trimming, you know, the fertilizing, the irrigation checkup, irrigation, you know, in the spring, the winterizing in the fall, and then pretty much we try to really do everything. And the reason why is because if you're sitting there trying to give, you know, a client comes up, say you're only doing the mowing. Okay, well, you already have a bid for that. Let's just say it was $50. And then next they say, oh, my shrubs need to be trimmed. Giving a bid for that. Now you're spending time giving a bid, you know, all together, sending it out to them. Oh, and now I need fertilizing done. How much is that? And it's just, it starts to eat up a lot of your time, which is why I try to include as much work as possible. Oh, you know, like leaf cleanup too. That's another thing that we include in our contracts. And so you spend so much time getting all these bids together, where if you have pretty much one bid that includes everything, and we'll teach you how to do that later on in the series or in the videos. It's a lot easier to, you're not wasting your time sending out all these bids, all these emails, or however you guys send out your bids. We do all of our stuff by emails. And that's another video we're going to be doing. We have a lot of video ideas. So, but that way you're not spending all this time sending out bids and doing bids. It's all included in one contract. And what's nice is that what happens is that, say you need some hedge trimming that needs to be done. I'm checking my time. Okay. Say you need some hedge trimming that needs to be done. Okay. Say you send out a bid, sometimes the people don't get back to you right away. They take quite a while, or it's some other project. And so what happens is that over that time, either the shrubs start to grow a lot larger, or something gets in the way where the bid that you originally gave. The best example is doing weed control. Say if they say, I want all these weeds taken care of. Okay, so you give a bid for that. If they take over 2 weeks, those weeds are way taller and probably a lot thicker than what you originally gave. So now you're doing more work for a bid that should have been done a long time ago. Now that's what's nice about the year contracts, is that when the things need to get done, you can just do it. You know, you can do it on your time. It's not when the client wants it, which is why I really like it. Now, some of the cons to doing yearly contracts, and this is why I think a lot of guys don't like to do them, is if the client cancels the contract very early in the season, and you kind of lose a lot of money. Because what happens is that all the work that you're doing in the summertime, you get paid in the wintertime. So for instance, I was working like 50 to 70 hours a week in the springtime. Now I'm barely working. I'm probably working maybe about like 10 hours a week, just because all of our jobs are done, but I'm still getting paid the same amount as I was in the summertime, which is really nice. So now I'm able to spend time with my family, go and do stuff, and just relax. This is my time to relax. Where a lot of guys, especially on the East Coast or Midwest, they're doing snow removal, but like I said, we don't really have that here. And so what happens is that, say you do like 2-3 months in the summertime of work, and then the client cancels the contract with you. Well, all that profit, all the time you're going to make in the wintertime to pay back for that, it's kind of all gone. And we'll talk about then in the next video of some of the things that you need to have in your contracts, and one of them is a cancellation clause. But like I said, we'll talk about it in the next video. Another pro, like I said, is that it kind of just protects you on the work. Is that, yeah, sorry, our list is kind of all, I'm just kind of throwing a video out there for you guys just to kind of get something up for you guys. Another pro, like I said, I was just going to say is, lost my train of thought. So we're going to cut it, go to the next one. All right, so another pro in having yearly contracts is that in your contracts, you can state exactly what you're responsible for. That way you don't have a client coming over saying, hey, why didn't you do this? This needs to get done. You can sit there and say, well, in the contract it specifically says this, that I'm responsible for this, and that's a separate that's a separate bid, which is why it's nice to have those contracts to have that. Pretty much the contract just outlines what your responsibilities are for maintaining the property, and the contracts just let you guys know that we maintain are strictly maintenance contracts, so it's nothing else. Hey babe. So let's just talk about that. I just did, but those are strictly maintenance contracts. So if you're looking at doing contracts for anything else, any other kind of job, this kind of applies to it. You can, like I said, you can kind of take the structure of what we're talking about and include it and make your own. But pretty much what we're talking about is yearly maintenance contracts for landscaping properties is what we're doing. I believe that's kind of everything, you know. Like I said, we'll do another video on things that you need to have in your contracts, but this is, you know, I think a lot of guys, like I don't know how, you know, beneficial yearly contracts are. Oh, another thing is that a lot of people usually don't like to sign them. So what happens is that they think that they're stuck. When they hear yearly contracts, they think that they're stuck with you for an entire year. So if you do a really crappy service, they feel like, well, I can't get out of it and I'm stuck with you, so I don't want to do that. And that's something you got to talk to them about, the benefits of having a yearly contract compared to not. And that's really the biggest thing, is just selling that, because it really is important. Like I said, it's nice for me to have a steady income each and every month. And then of course, any other side job we take on is just kind of profit or just an add-on to our income, which is really great. But I really do enjoy doing yearly contracts. They really have saved our business from going out. And just overall, they're just great. So hopefully we covered everything. If you guys have any more questions about yearly contracts, hopefully we'll kind of cover them in the next video. But leave a comment below, and hopefully we'll do another video sometime soon on things that we missed in the yearly contracts. So like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time on Ambrose Landscaping YouTube channel.